Hello guys, welcome to today's class session. In this lesson, we will be discussing punctuation marks and their usage. So let's go. Punctuation is the use of certain signs or marks in a written language. A sentence will be marked wrong if the appropriate punctuation marks are not put. Punctuation marks are essential when writing. They show the reader where sentences start and finish. And if they are used properly, they make your writing easy to digest. The punctuation marks are full stop, question mark, quotation mark, apostrophe, comma, exclamation mark, semicolon, hyphen, colon, ellipsis. Now let's look at when each of these marks are used. The full stop. It is used, 1, at the end of every sentence that is not a question or exclamation mark. For example, I have a good pen. 2, it is also used after abbreviations and initials. For example, Mr. M.A. John and Co. Nigeria Limited. B, the question mark. It is used at the end of a direct question. For example, what is your name? 2, it is also used after a sentence that is a statement in form but a question in meaning. For example, you have said that you will complete the work on schedule. Quotation marks. These marks are used, 1, the actual words of the speaker are being used. That's when the actual words of the speaker are being used. For example, he asked, "Where is my book?" It is also used to indicate a quotation. For example, Julio Caesar once said, "Cowards die many times before their deaths, but the valiant never tastes of death before but once." It is also used in titles of books and plays as an alternative to italics. For example, Achebe wrote "Things Fall Apart." The apostrophe. It is used, 1, to show the omission of a letter from a word. For example, can't, which means cannot. She will. Couldn't, could not. 2, it also follows with letter S at the end of a noun to show ownership or possession. For example, the man's house, Olu's book. The comma. The comma is used, 1, to mark off each of the words or phrases in a list. For example, I have a pen, pencil, ruler, and some books in my bag. It is also used to mark off 2 long sentences joined by and or but or other coordinating conjunctions. For example, the chief has promised to visit me next Sunday, and I have instructed my wife to make necessary arrangements. 3, it is used to mark off words of address. For example, my dear Taiwo, I am happy to see you. It is also used to mark off words or phrases that could be left out of a sentence without altering the sentence. For example, you are the boy, I suppose, who came here yesterday. The exclamation mark. It is used, 1, after an interjection. For example, "Oh, I wonder how he died so early." It is also used at the end of phrases or sentences that form an exclamation. For example, "What a pity." The semicolon. Semicolon is used to separate two long clauses when the clauses contain parts subdivided by commas. For example, I will take him along if he arrives early, but if he doesn't, I will go alone. 2. It is also used before such words as namely. For example, 4 boys were absent yesterday, namely Ibrahim, Ladi, Tony, and Chidi. The hyphen. The hyphen is used to form compound words. For example, 26. Colon. It is used to introduce a list or an enumeration of details. For example, among the brilliant girls I know are Fahidat, Mary, and Kabirat. Answer the following questions. What is your name? Where do you live? Ellipsis. Ellipsis is usually represented by 3 periods. It is usually used within quotations to jump from one phrase to another, omitting unnecessary words that do not interfere with the meaning. For example, Ade began to count 1, 2, 3, 4 until he got to 10. Then he drove off. Another example. When Newton stated an object at rest stays at rest and an object in motion stays in motion, he developed the law of motion. So summarily, there are various punctuation marks, but 11 of them were discussed in this lesson, which are the full stop, the question mark, the quotation mark, the apostrophe, comma, exclamation mark, the semicolon, hyphen, colon, ellipsis, and ellipsis. If correctly used, they will make your writing easier to read and more appealing. So with that, we've come to the end of today's class session. I hope you've learned how to use the punctuation marks correctly. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section or send us an email. Do take the exercises and send them to our email as well. Do have a lovely day.